I'm looking at the back of this head. You know, it's chrome sides with a little tuft on top, a full-on Marine haircut. The neck is all red, the ears are large. It's an interesting view. And without turning around, he says, "Which one of you is Carradine?" I went, "I am?" He says, "F*** you, Carradine."
I remember when the Kung Fu movie came on. It was an ABC Tuesday night movie, 73 minutes, and they were doing a different movie every week, but the ratings were so good that they spun it off into a TV series, and it was a smash.
It did well.
Yeah. Well, you actually did an episode of that with your dad.
I did.
How nice.
My dad was captured by the natives, and they tied his eyelids open and stuck him in the ground with him pointing at the sun, so he went blind. And I can't talk, I'm playing a mute.
That's easy, that's not fair.
It wasn't easy. I had to, indicate to David, Kwai Chang Caine, he needs to come with me, so I'm like the dog in Lassie. But he saved my dad.
Well,
and every day when I came to work, somebody inevitably on the crew would say, "You know your lines?" And it's like, it got really old.
Yeah. I loved that program, though. Now, were you involved in the flashback montage at the beginning? I know I see Keith all the time as he's getting older.
Right, he's the middle Caine. And no, I'm not in that sequence, but if you notice, when Keith has the Kwai Chang Caine makeup on with no hair and stuff, he looks eerily like a teenage David. I mean, it's really, it's amazing. Getting to the Cowboys, I may have saved the Duke's life.
Well, how would you have saved the Duke's life? A rowdy youngster like yourself.
Okay, so we were instructed if we weren't in school and we weren't on set, we were to be practicing our roping, like 24/7, because they wanted us to look real handy. So I'm out in front of the Anderson Ranch, which was kind of, it was a pretty good-sized house, and then this thing that kind of looked like a carport, and then a bunch of corrals, and it was shaped in a semicircle. And the carport wasn't that high. It was maybe 6.5, 7 feet high. It was just like a breezeway between the house and the corrals. So I'm in front of that, and I'm practicing my rope, and and I hear this horse coming at a dead gallop. And I look around, and it's the Duke. He's on dollar. He's got his head pulled all the way the wrong way, and the horse can still see that carport, and he's going for it. And I'm thinking, And all the wranglers were out on the range for the sequence with the Chapman crane. There's nobody at base camp. So I just, I'll whistle like I saw these guys do. So I whistled really loud and waved my hands, and the horse turned up. So cut to 2 or 3 hours later, I'm out there practicing the roping, and I feel a presence. And I look, it's the Duke. I'm like, oh man, here we go. He says, the roping looks good. Oh, thanks, Mr. Wayne. Pretty nice weather we're having. Yeah, it's swell. Well, keep up the good work. And he walked away, and I figured that was his way of saying thanks. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. Well, just to have been in that film so early on and having it be such a loved movie now must make you feel terrific too.
It's funny, I am more proud of it now than I was then, because now I have, to use Duke's word, the wherewithal to appreciate that film's place in American Western cinema.
Well, it's right up there. A war movie that you did with one of the great directors of all time, Sam Fuller. You played Sam in this World War II movie, The Big Red One. Lee Marvin was in it, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
That's a terrific film.
Let's go.
1942. There probably wasn't a worse way to grow up.
Don't panic. It's a bushfight.
There was Griff, Vinci, Sam, and Johnson. And then there was the sergeant.
It's been restored, and I think about 40 minutes have been put back into it.
That's correct.
That had been taken out.
Right.
What was that like working and playing Sam? Oh, you had a big cigar, right?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
12 a day. And I'll never forget when I first went to that film set, we hadn't met Lee yet. You know, there's 4 guys, Mark Hamill, myself, Bobby DeCicco, and Kelly Ward. And in the script, we're the sergeant's 4 horsemen. We survive every battle with Lee, and the replacements keep getting hit instead of us. So anyway, we're gonna go shoot the M1 Garand rifle with live ammunition so that we could replicate the recoil of the rifle. So we're all sitting in this car out in front of the hotel, and we're waiting for Lee, and we're waiting for Lee. And finally, he comes down. His daughter was with him. He sits in the middle of the front seat. The daughter is sitting shotgun. And he looks at the driver, and the driver hits it. Nobody has said a word. We're driving for 15, 20 minutes. I'm looking at the back of his head. You know, it's chrome sides with a little tuft on top, a full-on Marine haircut. The neck is all red. The ears are large. It's an interesting view. And without turning around, he says, "Which one of you is Carradine?" I went, "I am?" He says, "F you, Carradine." That was it.
And why did he say that? You must have...
Well, I finally worked up the gumption to ask him a couple of weeks later what was going on there. And he said, "Well, you know, I figure I got to keep up with 4 of you young sons of so I wanted to set the deal straight right from the get-go."
Did it work?
No. No, we partied with them.
Yeah,
No, it was a great shoot. And then on the reconstruction, you see, when that movie came out, Lorimar Studios refused to release a movie that was over 2 hours. Sam turned in a 2-hour and 50-minute cut and said, "That's it." So they just yanked out 50 minutes, just yanked them out wherever they felt they could. And that's why they wound up adding me as a narrator to make the movie make sense. So cut to 2004, Brian Jameson from Warner Brothers Home Video, a 30-year veteran of the studio, and Richard Schickel, the Time magazine critic. They were having drinks one night, and they got to talking about the Big Red One. And Jameson told Schickel, "You know, I think I could find that footage." So they talked Warner Brothers into spending $500,000 to put the film back to its former glory. And they had film coming in from Kansas, they had film coming in from Sacramento, then a roll of sound would show up, and they're trying to organize all the stuff. They even had 16 millimeter footage that came in from Denmark from a crew that was there to shoot a documentary on the making of, and it happened to be the same angle as Sam shot. That's in the movie. They even redid the sound, 5.1 stereo. The rifle shots, everything is absolutely authentic now. And we took it to Cannes Film Festival for the reconstruction, I guess, premiere.
Was Fuller still alive then?
No. I wish you could have seen what these guys did. Anyway, they ran the film, and it got a standing ovation. And this is, 30 years later, standing ovation. So if you haven't seen the film, get the reconstruction, because that's the masterpiece. The other one, not so much.
Did they take your narration out?
Some of it they took out because now we could see what was happening, but some they left in. So it's a nice balance. They even found the composer to add some music to these extra sequences. And I mean, it's incredible.
Well, it was great in the theaters anyway. I'm sure it's so much better. I'm going to look up that.
I think you should.
That
And
longer
then,
version.
a final story about John Wayne was the movie was finished, and we were having a wrap party at a soundstage on the Warner Brothers lot, and we're eating and all that stuff. And I noticed a line of kids forming. The Cowboys, and Duke is signing autographs on an 8x10 of him, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, what the hell. So I got a picture. I'm getting the end of the line. I'm always in the end of this line for some reason.
And you're a C. You should be up at the top.
I know. So I get up to him, and I hand him the picture, and he goes, Carradine, you stupid son of a bitch, I just made a picture with you and gave it back to me.
But don't you wish you'd signed it and you had it now?
I do, but
Yeah.
I made a picture with
It's a
him.
good story, though.
It is.
Yeah. Well, the film that you've done where you play Frank James, I know The Long Riders is just a film that keeps getting better every year. It
Yeah,
seems
it
like
does.
with
It's
all the
doing well.
wonderful cast and just the film itself. But you're in a film playing Frank James. I think Darby Hinton is playing one
Cole
of the
Younger.
Cole Youngers. Johnny Crawford plays William S. Hart.
I know, it's amazing.
Bill Tillman, tell us about this film.
Well, it was a little different than the Cowboys. You know, we didn't shoot for 15 weeks. We shot for 15 minutes. And the director, Wayne Shipley, he's just a master of getting the most out of virtually nothing. And he got good performances out of us, even Darby. And
Even Darby?
even Darby.
Okay.
And the film is it's got some humor in it. And I don't know who the fella is that played Bill Tillman, but this guy looks like a badass. And he was great. I think he was a local actor. So yeah, Bill Tillman and the Outlaws. Don't miss it.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
All right, appreciate it.
See you now.